This Hall family recipe comes from the 1917 version of the New Perfection Oil Cook Stoves manual, and at the back of the manual was a bunch of recipes. And in this section was a recipe for scalloped tomatoes. Now, this is not like the current version that you see on the internet. This is done with whole slices of tomatoes, not ground up the way all the current versions are. This version in 1917 is completely different, and we make it a lot, especially in warm weather. So this is how you do it. So of course you have to have the tomatoes. We use Roma because they have less juice and they're more firm. You've got to have bread. You don't have to have fancy bread. We just buy store brand white bread, sandwich bread. It works just fine. Then you have a sweet onion. We've tried all the so-called sweet onions, and the best that we found is the yellow sweet onion. We've tried Vidalia. It doesn't come out good. We've tried the white sweet onions. It doesn't come out good. But the yellow sweet, that works the best. Next, you have to have some butter. We're using Land O'Lakes. You can use any kind of butter. Do not use margarine. Then salt and pepper grinders. You don't want the stuff out of a shaker. You want it coarse. So you're going to start off by cutting your tomatoes into relatively thin slices. My knife work isn't the greatest, but it's good enough for this recipe. Next, you have to butter the bread. For the Pyrex pie dish that we're using, the 9-inch pie dish, it takes 6 slices of bread. Then after you butter them, I put one on top of the other and I slice it up into cubes. I know the original recipe and all the modern recipes call for like a crouton, but we found that just regular sandwich bread works just fine with some butter on it. Next step is to take your yellow sweet onion and peel it. And then shred it with one of the graters. What you're after is the onion juice. Now you're finally ready to assemble the scalloped tomatoes. You put a layer of the cubed bread and butter in the bottom. In our size Pyrex dish, it's 2 slices of bread. Then you add a layer of your sliced Roma tomatoes. Then you take your salt and pepper grinders and grind some coarse salt and coarse black pepper on top of the tomatoes. And then each tomato gets a little bit of the onion juice. As you can see here, we're spreading it out with the spoon. Then you top that with another layer of the bread and butter. That's another 2 slices. Then add another layer of the tomatoes. And again, you use the coarse ground salt and pepper. And more onion juice. And then you top that with the final 2 slices of bread and butter that's been cubed, and you're ready to broil it. I said broil, not bake. And into the toaster oven it goes until the bread on top is brown and crispy. And when it comes out looking like ours did, it's ready to eat. It should be eaten immediately. It doesn't keep well because the bread will go soft from the tomato juice. So it's best to eat it right out of the toaster oven. And that is our 1917 recipe for scalloped tomatoes, courtesy of the New Perfection cookbook.